Hey everybody, Shane with 3MG TV, and today we're going to talk about things you need to know and think about when it's time to get paid. So when it's time to go into negotiating for pay at a gig, a lot of the stuff that you need to know is going to be things that you have to figure out about yourself and your product beforehand. And the very first thing is demographic. Who is your show for? Because that's going to have a lot to do with how much you can charge, because some demographics have more money and go out to different places. So that also becomes a bit of where do I look? For instance, if you're a guy that plays 60s and 70s covers on acoustic guitar, that's a totally different venue and money and length of time for a show than somebody that does a whole band that does a screaming metal show. Think about it. People that like 70s guitar music are going to be 50 years old. They're going to be in country clubs. They're going to be at nice restaurants. People that like screaming metal music are going to be children. And they're going to be at rock shows where they have wide open places for people to fight with each other. So one of those is paying a bit of money for a ticket, and the other isn't. Another thing to think about when you're establishing your demographic and thereby trying to figure out where you're going to look to play is your music going to be designed for everybody, or is it going to be a lot of original stuff where it's more of an artistic endeavor? Because then you're saying, I'm going to do these really popular songs in the case of like a cover thing, and so most everybody there will enjoy it. And then if it's original stuff, then you kind of have to seek out places and people that are open to that kind of thing. Sometimes you get to do both, but not always, and the venue is going to dictate which that is. So the next thing to consider is packaging. Now what I mean by that is there are a lot of places that hire bands and things, and they say, all right, each band member gets $100 a person, and then they say $300 for a 3-piece and 4 and 5, and then they pretty well stop at 5 or 6 pieces. That's ridiculous. The whole idea is a bit ridiculous. I mean, I know why they do it. It's a budgeting idea. However, no one ever asks how many people are in a DJ group, or how many turntables the guy brings, or how many people it takes to run the karaoke show. They just hire the karaoke show. When they hire a comedy show, they just hire a comedy show. When a place hires the circus, they hire the circus. They're not worried that it's 35 people times X amount of money. That's silly. However, there are a lot of groups and individuals who don't package their show as a show. But think about your more expensive, larger acts. If you have some known act, they tend to be that band. Even if there's 8 of them, and they charge whatever they charge, because that is the show that they're selling. And that's important at the smaller scale too. If you're an acoustic duo, call yourself whatever you call yourself and say, we're $300. You don't even necessarily need to let the venue know that there's 2 of you. This is the show. The other thing about the packaging, have a way to present the show. Show what the show is in a clear, concise, professional manner, with demos, with YouTube videos, things of that sort. Alright, so now we know our demographic, who we're trying to play to, and thereby where to find those people or what places to go look. And we talked about packaging so that we're selling a particular product at a price point. Now, at that stage, you're ready to go and start talking to people, and the negotiations can really begin. And then the third idea is scaling. Can you make your act scale to various budgets? What I mean, let's say we have a jazz combo and we'd like to go with 5 or 6 guys, and that costs $800, $1,000. If you walk into a smaller venue and they don't have $1,000, how much show could you bring them for $500? And then that is how you negotiate with some power, because if you got to the stage that they're talking to you, they'd like to have you. Now you say, well, the whole band is X amount. maybe the place doesn't even quite have room for that. So you say, well, I can bring 2 guys for this amount of money. Would you be interested in that? In the cases of things like jazz combos and small, blues and country bands, you can knock the thing down to a 3-piece and it be, for all intents and purposes, as entertaining as it is with the full group with less people. So the scaling is where you're going to be able to say, all right, we started 1,000, and if they take that, great, then you did it. And if they say, we don't have it, we got 800, then say, we can do 800, and then you leave one guy at home. This idea of scaling is important. It allows you to not only play more places and maybe on off nights, but it allows you to be able to let these places feel like they got a deal. And then they'll be more likely to use you again and possibly hire the whole thing in the future. Anyway, I hope that helped. There's 3 points and things to think about when you're trying to get paid. If you have any more questions or comments or ideas of your own, leave them in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.